Hi, welcome to the Mohua show. My name is Mohua Chinnappa and I am an author, entrepreneur and ex-housewife. This podcast is about everything from business to technology to arts to lifestyle, but done and spoken ईमानदारी से. Hi, in today's episode, we have with us Manish Kelshikar. Manish is an accomplished entrepreneur. He's the founder and CEO of Woloo, a Shark Tank featured startup that is revolutionizing the way women find and manage washrooms. Yes, you heard me right. With the background of Manish in design and retail management and a degree from the prestigious NIFT and FIT New York, he has a wealth of knowledge and experience in design, innovation, marketing, and brand communication strategy. He's worked with major companies such as Walmart, Shoppers Stop, and even founded DSGN Inc., the only design BPO in India, catering to international fashion brands. He's also been recognized for his work, receiving prestigious awards such as the World Trade Center Award for Bag Forever, the NASSCOM RetechCon Award for Innovation for his venture Uniform Republic, and the Walt Disney Design Excellence Award. So from the fashion business to get into the washroom business, we need to welcome Manish today, and please stay tuned to know about his journey and the innovative work he's doing with Woloo to improve washroom accessibility for women, which is so great. So welcome, Manish, in today's episode. So first question with you is that how did you choose the name Woloo?
Thanks a lot. And that was quite elaborate. Okay. I mean, to a level of embarrassment. Okay. But yeah, Woloo is a simple, combination of women's loo. I mean, that would have been, and apart from that, coming from a branding background, it has a great fanatic. So Woloo was easy. We also, people also probably, derive Wowlu and whatnot actually, but it started from women's loo. That's what Woloo.
How phenomenal. So, I'm sure you know that there'll be so many people who would want to know, especially our listeners. Everybody's talking about Shark Tank. So you need to tell our listeners your experience in Shark Tank and how it impacted your business.
Shark Tank, yeah, it was a phenomenally changing experience. We professionally grew up watching it probably in many years now. I watched Shark Tank US very regularly when I was in US, came back and still followed it up. And it was kind of very aspirational or very exciting that, okay, within no time, a venture gets its due, gets recognized, and validation from the whole thing. And I think that was quite fascinating. And then one fine day, I got to know about Shark Tank India from my daughter, and then just applied for it from 65,000 entries, getting shortlisted. The whole process was phenomenal in terms of, and every step we climbed up, from initial audition rounds to the final audition to the final take. And then I think that it was fairly, evolution kind of things. And I think that was one of the most amazing things. And nothing can be better for a startup like Woloo, where awareness is the most key. And Shark Tank came in at the right time for us to take it to a national level. So fantastic experience. It can't be better than this.
So, Manish, you know what? I'm sure many entrepreneurs would like to know from the horse's mouth as to what does it take to pitch a business to Shark Tank?
To be very honest, actually, it is not just Shark Tank, but I guess, first of all, the core objective of any startup is problem solving. We should be very clear that, what kind of a problem we are solving. And there is a unique method which I would like to share with listeners that, okay, which I have evolved and I have been using it for many years being an innovator, is that it's called identify, clarify, simplify, and amplify. So identify a problem, clarify if the problem is actually a problem, and or evolve or go deep dive and understand the real problem. And then identify solution, clarify solution is correct, simplify it, and then amplify it. Okay, so I guess going to a place like Shark Tank, you got to be very clear very, very sharp in terms of very, very brief and focused on your business idea. Very simple thing, right? And I mean, what is the business idea? What problem is solving? How it is solving? What kind of profitability? Shark Tank is actually investor forum, so you need to show profitability. At the same time, does it have any kind of a meaning, purpose, kind of thing? If it's a bouquet of all these things, you have a home run. You have a clean formula that shark will come in and invest. They are fantastic. They are really receptive, very sensitive, and sensible also. But at the same time, of course, the idea is all about investment. So it's very, very important that it has to be viable. I mean, I would rather say it has to be, generally, it has to be much more social. We call it as, the triple bottom line model of business. Well, will work much better with that.
When you talk about the triple bottom line of business, what exactly do you mean by that?
See, there are businesses and there are ideas, but triple bottom line has a very unique model, and I think we have. So it is from it is from people, how, what kind of impact it is creating on changing people's life, and then it goes to a planet. Is it creating a very positive impact environmentally, socially, and environmentally? So when people, it is socially viable. In planet, it's environmentally viable. And obviously the third is profitability, which is economically viability. So this is called the entire triple bottom line model of business. If you have a correct equilibrium balance of this, I guess, I mean, there is no need. Consumers are really, really then, the adapt consumer acquisition or adoption, I call it normally, is much more easier, and the sustainability of a venture like this is much more longer.
So, can you discuss the relationship that you've established with the sharks, if any, and how has it helped your business?
With sharks, I guess, I mean, to be honest, okay, I mean, it was, no, I mean, I anticipated, because it is called Shark Tank, and I was expecting a bit of roast or something like this. But no, I mean, right from the day we were taken in for a final audition, it was 2 days prior. The way the entire team inducted, I think before even meeting sharks, I think the entire Shark Tank team, who works very, very, extensively, very hard working team, and but still, they have probably the most amazing patience with you. You might be a great, entrepreneur, but at the end of the day, it is presentation. Okay, it is all about pitching. So they are extremely helpful. Now from there, when you reach to a tank and the final interaction with the sharks, they'll surprise you with their courtesy. They are so comforting, they're so understanding. It is not unnecessary roast, but yes, they will be extremely sharp with their questions, and you are supposed to be knowing your domain, being a entrepreneur, startup founder. That is, I think, expecting that is not really a bad thing. But and I think everyone has their own persona, and that's their own way, approach, and style. But cumulatively, they make a fantastic team and combination. They're dolphins, actually. I don't see them sharks, actually, frankly speaking.
You're changing the entire image for all of us by calling them dolphins. This is phenomenal. I mean,
No, I genuinely feel, I'll tell you something, I genuinely feel they're so courteous, they're so sensitive, they're so emotional. Have you ever seen an emotional shark? They're so emotional about understanding the hardship of a startup, what a founder goes through, okay? Comparing to that, yeah, I mean, I'm not comparing with US, so those guys are also great human beings. But I guess, I have seen the real sharks in the real investment world. Okay, better than that. I mean, the Shark Tank sharks are far, far better. In retail, we have every Monday is a Shark Tank. Okay, and we have seen some ferocious sharks there.
So, you need to tell us the inspiration and the motivation behind developing the Woloo app. Where did it really start from?
See, inspiration, if you see it, I mean, one, as I always say, that you got to be very, very sensitive, I mean, as human beings, towards women and everything. 65% women, workforce in retail are women or something, so you tend to normally, and obviously our value system in India far better that way towards women. But at the same time, I mean, with me, my life changed. Typically, I use this thing that agony of a woman is understood by a man only when he becomes a father of one. And with me, my daughter changed my life since she has taken a birth. And as she grew up, actually, I found the more sensitive side of it. More understood a woman much better with her own understanding, with her own growing up process, right from the way she was growing up as a child and then puberty and everything. I think she was upfront enough to really, she's typically, like any other, youngster wants to go abroad and all. And as a father, I wanted to keep her home. And then, so one fine day, she got very agitated and say, I can't even find a washroom in this country. Okay. So what do you think that way? And I think that changed my entire approach towards the whole thing. And I found that as a serious issue to a level that, I mean, a simple 3 by 3 space called toilet actually impacts a life of not just a life of a woman or women across India, but also their education, health, which results into the percentage of women working women, contribution and then to overall economy. I mean, I'll give you a simple example. Okay, 67% women don't drink water when they go out of home. Now imagine the entire beverage industry is losing out that business. And imagine the same way a toilet is impacting all women traveling across country. Okay, you imagine tourism as an industry is getting impacted, and on sanitation industry and women's personal hygiene industry. So somehow, somewhere, that was the triggering point for me that okay, this has to be changed, and I guess I'm blessed with this thought that okay, I could change it.
So, can you discuss the process of gathering and verifying the information, for the washrooms featured in the app? This must be a phenomenally, crazy thing to do. So, how did you go about it?
When the entire thought, of creating or solving this problem, obviously there was the magnitude of the problem, or I would say the size of the need of this kind of problem solving was so large that I needed something much more larger, and we needed really clean, hygienic washroom practically every block, every corner, every kilometer. And the only thing we found out that every restaurant has a washroom, which was averagely maintained, in some cases nicely maintained, and in some cases there were no washrooms. So that was a tricky one actually for us. And then I thought, okay, let's probably go to any agency who can probably certify, and we did not find anyone. So that was actually the first opportunity. We found out that Woloo Assurance of Hygiene, we call it WAH, is a hygiene certification and a unique, it's a patent with us, and it's a unique property we built this. And that started, and then use of technology was very important for us. And then this is how we started separating good washroom and restaurants with good washroom to the bad ones, and not average ones rather. The criteria we had to set to do this is, one of the most important thing is, anything what you offer to women at home, it will be the best. Okay, that was the simple logic we used. And then say, will it be accessible? So it has to be easily accessible. It cannot be in the by lanes and a first floor, second floor, or somewhere. The washroom inside the a restaurant should be also very easily accessible, and not in the back side of the whole thing. Then the fitting of the entire condition of the toilet has to be better, and then no other cameras and nothing. Everything is verified. Safety of a woman is important for us, and then the entire process of cleaning has to be very important for us. That really sets apart. And then the overall hospitality levels and rating must be really so. Cumulatively, we managed to create a kind of a rating methodology, and that has worked phenomenally well. Yes, it was not easy. Initially, I used to do no, I mean 40, 50, 60 calls a day, go to meet restaurants and convince them and all. But yeah, things one led to another. Now we have almost 25,000 washrooms in 400 cities, and Mumbai alone has 1,500. But yeah, that's something which I'm really glad, and I would like to take this forum to thank all the restaurant and cafe owners that They spread their arms. They understand that, okay, there is a law. Okay, I mean, by law, they are supposed to offer washrooms to women and kids where, but I guess, and I'm so glad and I'm thankful to all of them that, there is no one I have yet met that who is not willing to offer this washroom to women. So, but yeah, I mean, if you ask me, the challenge was not getting them on board, obviously. The challenge was somewhere else. Okay. And I think that was a very crucial part. Okay. I mean, just to extend this discussion into it, the challenge is actually for generations after generations, women have stopped, you know, going to washroom whenever they are out without realizing how much it is affecting their health and, hygiene, work, career, academic. They have just stopped going. So, I always appeal women that now Woloo is already, taking care of their hygiene dignity and washroom jana zaruri hai.
So, repeating the line after you, washroom jana zaruri hai. How does Woloo plan to address the lack of accessible washrooms for people with disabilities? Do you have plans?
That's a great question. Actually, I missed out on my criteria model. So whenever we segregate washroom, one of the most important thing is the washroom has to be separate for men and women. That is our first criteria. But we also insist that if there is a washroom which is complied for specially able women, especially able people, okay. And let me give you at the back end, Woloo is really working with a lot of organizations and a lot of corporates. Because there are hardly in a single digit, you could say the percentage in a single digit that the washrooms are complied for specially able people. I have a dream. Woloo has a dream, vision, and to create at least 30% of this washroom should be, complied. Every block, every cluster, what we call it as a 30 or 40 washrooms. We create a cluster which is 2 kilometers. I want at least 1 or 2 washrooms which are complied by, for specially able people. And Woloo will certainly, use its profit, its revenue, or its investment, or or special funds or a grant to ensure that these washrooms are complied and and upgraded for specially able people. My dream is to create a unique map of washrooms which are specially, so any person who is Woloo user can actually see a map of washrooms with specially able compatibility.
So, you know what? I'd love you to discuss the challenges that you face in developing and launching the Woloo app and how you overcame them. Overcoming ये बहुत जबरदस्त होगा आपकी तरफ से सुनना, because बहुत सारे लोग बीच में छोड़ देते हैं अपनी entrepreneurial dream, because आसान तो है नहीं, to start something on your own, like you rightly said in the beginning.
I think challenges, is the actually, I mean, startup itself is a I would say it's coming out of a comfort zone of your jobs. Okay, I also worked many years in very comfortable or relatively controlled or kind of an environment, and now diving into, see, it's like I'll compare this with very unique way. Corporate jobs are like swimming in a pool. Okay, it might be any size of a pool and all, but it's very controlled. But you know what? Startup is diving into ocean. Okay, you don't know how things are, but you don't know what challenges are, and there are challenges every step. I think no matter how much a founder is prepared for it, I think the challenges are far bigger than and more and unexpected to it. With us also, it's been 3.5, 4 years now, and interesting challenges we have constantly been. This is our third Woloo 3.0, third revolution, third pivot actually. 2 pivots we did actually, third version of Woloo, and as I said, the challenge was not really in terms of designing a business model, evolving as a business idea, or driving revenues and everything all together. I guess one of the biggest challenge which I have mentioned about it, is about women themselves. It's very important for women to come out as a, there is this, we call it as a freedom from fear. There's a campaign what Woloo does it actually. I'll take you to a small story which my wife has actually narrated. That, I mean, we celebrate a girl child. It's a girl nowadays, okay? And then as she starts growing, there's a comfortable childhood, and everything is really, really offered on platter. But at the same time there is nicely a fear is induced or injected in her mind that, okay, don't go here, don't go there, or you are a girl, you should not use washroom this way, or you should not go alone this way. And that's the fear starts growing as the girl grows. And as it grows, hit puberty, and then there are limitations to her behavior. The freedom is challenged somewhere, and that freedom is challenged as she grows into her first job, during her pregnancy, her travel, her higher management challenges, and everything. Somehow, somewhere, I think that needs to be changed, and that's where we realize that with our daughter, she won't face this problem. But this is exactly, so women have a unique techniques to to really dodge this fear, rather than, so they don't use washroom, they don't drink water, okay, they don't change pads in a whole day and all. I think that is a cruelty towards themselves. Women now, and this is exactly a shift. They need to shift lifestyle, a change in their lifestyle. That this is exactly how ATM changed. Okay, we never carried cash now, and now it has gone further to a digital payment. So you just have to have a phone. So I think these are brilliant evolutions. Women's sanitation, I guess I'm glad Woloo is being a strongly catalyst, but challenges are still there are still proactive, reactive, and inactive customers. So I would go with, there are many inactive customers. We want to push them into reactive and then putting them into a proactive behavior.
What would Manish tell his younger self?
I'm going to thank the younger Manish, for his ability to take risks and go bindas the way I was, and I am still. But I think that I want to, many Manishes to follow their heart. There is decision making is always a kind of a war between heart and brain. So if the heart is not happy, brain, no matter how much brain does it, okay, it will be a dissonance. So that's the way I think I have always felt. Um, I mean, I'm glad that my upbringing happened in a certain way, more disciplined, but still has a lot of risk-taking appetite, which actually, which has. So I'm glad that a lot of things have been in a positive way. But I'm also, I would like to share the same thing with the other youngster founders also.
Thank you so much, Manish, for being on today's podcast. I'm sure so many people are inspired and you're doing an amazing job. For the first time, a man is talking about a woman's toilet habits and how to make that easier for her. So this itself is so noble and so honorable. And wishing Woloo all the best. And thank you so much for being on today's podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, and lovely talking to you. I would just like to take a message that we our vision is to really change the way every toilet must be maintained, and Woloo is ready to offer its technology, services, and ideas. And India would be ready. No guest, whether traveling within India or coming from overseas, will be deprived from a bad washroom now. And but I would like to again tell women that washroom jana zaruri hai, and go bindas, Woloo hai na.
On that note, thank you so much. Washroom jana zaruri hai. Thanks, Manish.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
To you, our dearest listeners, you can find us on your favorite streaming services, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and of course on all other major streaming services. With loads of love, we are The Mohua Show, where we talk ईमानदारी से.